want you all to pay attention to the very boring, plain, and ugly PowerPoint. It's ugly and plain for a reason. One day I walked into my ex-boyfriend's apartment and he was putting Febreze on the armpits of his shirt. And I was like, what are you doing? And he goes, well, I just decided I'd help Mother Earth out and not wash my clothes as often. Kind of thought that was a pretty bad idea of how to, protect the earth. But I really enjoy fresh air. I enjoy walking outside. I spend hundreds of dollars sometimes going to find the freshest air possible. Love to hike. I really want my kids and my grandkids at some point to enjoy some of the same experiences I get to enjoy in life, just with the nature and the beauty. And there's just so much color involved in life. Nashville has one of the prettiest springs I've ever seen, and I absolutely love that. I feel like we do live in a very self-absorbed society. We do a lot of things for ourselves. And I guess my question is, why don't we choose to participate in something that has such a positive universal effect? That is recycling. Klunger and Dorfman in the Time magazine state that the globe does not need to be saved by us. We couldn't kill it if we tried. What we need to do, and what we have done a fair job of boxing up so far, is the earth as we like it. It's climate, air, water, biomass, all of the destructible balances that best support life as we've come to know it. I'm talking to you about the ecosystem, and more specifically recycling. I'm really hoping to persuade you to begin recycling, in whatever size that is for you. I think you need to understand what recycling is in order to know how to really recycle. I'd like to inform you on that, and I would also like to squash any excuses you may have as to why you don't recycle by giving you some solutions as to how you can begin recycling. We'll begin by asking the question, what is recycling? Well, recycling is taking products that have already been in existence and returning them to become new products. McCarthy from the Recycle American Alliance states in the article of the News Weekly, there are billions of pounds of waste out there. We need to recycle. The New York Times states that global warming has become perhaps the most complicated issue facing world leaders. We simply need to recycle. Recycling is as simple as A, B, and C. A, you obtain a recyclable. Any recyclable will do. B, place it in a proper bin or can. C, you can really feel satisfied. You've done your part to make Captain Planet proud. It's not that hard. So the question is, why don't we do this? The question is, why do we do this? Why do we use our personal energy to remove garbage from recyclables? Let me help you understand some of the benefits to recycling. Andrew states in Time magazine, the quality of life will be affected by the increase of heat stress, water, severe weather events, and reduced ability of insurance and for the risk it promotes. All of this is caused by the change in chemistry in the air, whether it's changed by the amount of fossil fuel we burn. The average American uses 650 pounds of paper a year. That's 1 million tons of wood. That's a lot of trees. That's a lot of oxygen we don't get if we don't recycle it. One can recycled is able to run a TV for 3 hours. The U.S. is the #1 trash producing country. 5% of the population is generating 40% of the world's waste. That's thanks to us. And that is found off of dosomething.com. Once a can is recycled, it's back on the shelf in 60 days. Why wouldn't we want to just recycle our cans instead of having to make new ones? Industrial plants burn 21.3% of greenhouse gases alone. It's found from merchant scientist wikispace.com. Recycling saves energy. Recycling really saves the world one bottle at a time. If we don't recycle, we'll continue to suffer from global warming. We really will contribute to the decay of the ozone layer, which kind of allows us to breathe. It allows us to have life. In short, recycling allows us to burn a lot less fossil fuel, which in turn slows down the decline of the ecosystem and allows us to breathe a lot better for a lot longer. One can is still the same can in 500 years. It doesn't change. Let's recycle. Since we understand what recycling is and its benefits, let's look at some of the excuses y'all may have. The biggest excuse I get is it's not convenient for me. Same ex-boyfriend who Febrezed his shirt doesn't recycle. His reason is it's not convenient. My response to him, which wasn't very nice, was, well, it's not really very convenient for me not to breathe. You know, eventually it will catch up to us. I just want to ask in all seriousness, what do you all do that's beneficial to you that doesn't require some type of effort or work? You know, I don't stay in shape and have a healthy lifestyle by sitting in bed, eating chips, and watching movies all day. Now, I do have days where I do that, but that's not how you get something you're trying to obtain. It requires work. Effort and energy are the two things that are very vital to my existence. I put a lot of effort and energy into recycling because I feel like it improves my life and those around me. Another reason you may struggle with recycling is lack of appropriate waste bins. I know that Lipscomb is not really a very green conscious campus. Vanderbilt University, for every one trash can, they have 2 recycle cans. And that kind of sucks for us. But we do have some behind the high rise. I know we have a couple in the Student Center in Elam. You know, one of the easiest things I do is I don't just go throw every bottle away every time, but I collect them and then just take them and dump them all at one time. So there's really no excuse there. An old friend of mine used to say, I'll pay it back when I get millions of dollars. Well, you can't really pay Mother Earth back. No money is going to create an air. You may be unable to find a place, and because it's the South, I can say this because I'm going to say bless your heart afterwards. That's not an excuse. You can find a place. Now that we know there are really no excuses, we're going to go ahead and look at some of the solutions. I suggest you start small. You know, you don't have to recycle every paper clip or candy wrapper. You know, start with plastic bottles, start with cardboard. You know, just start small, but start. Find locations. It's much easier to recycle when you find the locations and you know exactly where you're going with these items. And just make up your mind to do it. You know, I think for so many of us, it just becomes something we haven't really thought about. Make up your mind to recycle. Make up your mind to create cleaner air. According to the New York Times, they've actually passed rules in New York that manufacturers have to provide proper recycling bins for their materials. And it kind of sucks that we're having to pass a law when we are all adults here and could be responsible to do what's right no matter what. My grandmother used to say, where there's a will, there's a way. We can make it happen if we choose to make it happen. Luke 12:48 says, to whom much is given, much is required. We are responsible to take care of Mother Earth. A quote that I absolutely love, it's very simple, it's from Yoda, Star Wars. Do or do not, there is no try. And I'd like to conclude with this, and notice we actually have some color now. You must be the change you wish to see in the world. Go green.